Absolutely. In fact, we did yesterday morning. I flew in the first exercise period for Northern Edge, and the F-35s were flying as part of the big Blue Air mission package, and we were flying our F-16 aggressor aircraft as the opposing force. So we did fly against the F-35s, but we weren't focused on their training. We were providing training to the entire Blue Air package. At the end of the exercise, the F-35s will remain down at JBER for about another week. And then we do some more focused unit level training. We're still working through all the details of that, but more than likely we'll be able to provide a little bit of direct training between us and the F-35s during that follow-on. But right now they're just a part of the big exercise, and we're providing training to all of the forces visiting here, to include the F-35s. Yes, so this morning, most of the aircraft are flying, actually all the aircraft are flying up in the interior J Park range, which is the range around Eielson, kind of runs from the Alaska range, sort of Delta Junction area up north past the Yukon River. And the Blue Forces are marshaling in the north, and they are coming down into our integrated air defense network, the RED network, and they are trying to execute some high priority strikes, but they've got to get themselves safely in and out against a threat system that emulates or simulates the best, the worst of what we could see around the world. So again, our mission set for the 354th Fighter Wing, when we're talking about this, is to provide the best enemy our nation can ever see. So they're having to break down the doors and do some high priority strikes against a high risk environment, and that's what's going on this morning. Well, it takes professional airmen. It shouldn't be a surprise to you all that our warfighters, we love doing our job. We are type A personalities for the most part, and we love to win, all right? But when you are emulating or simulating a potential adversary, your focus is not to win. Your focus is to provide the rest of our nation's forces with the best training possible. So if we, quote unquote, lose, that's a good thing, as long as we have provided the best quality training that we can. And if the Blue Air succeeds, then that's great. If they don't, we want them to learn specific lessons so that they get better the next time. So it is a mentality shift. We still want to do the best job that we can, and we are professional about it. But at the end of the day, if we all lose and the Blue Forces just rolled through and simulated, took us all out, then that's good at the end of the day. There isn't, because we don't want to see our Blue Force take unnecessary losses, losing valuable airmen, soldiers, Marines, simulated, and the national treasure of the United States. So we're here to train them so that they can get, do our nation's work and home safely. So if we lose and they win, that's good. So up here at Eielson right now, we have 57 aircraft approximately on our base participating in the exercise. The visiting aircraft actually do both blue side and red side. So yesterday on the red forces, we had in the morning we had 10 Eielson F-16 aggressors up, and then we were supplemented or augmented by another 6 F-15Es and about 6 F-16s that were visiting from Misawa. But those squadrons, the F-15E squadron from Seymour Johnson and the F-16 squadron from Misawa, they will split their time between Red Air and Blue Air, so they do both. And then we also have several kind of civilian-looking aircraft, Learjets, Falcon jets, and Saberliners. We have about 10 of those up here on the ramp as well that are outfitted with special jammers to, again, add complexity to the training. As technology continues to evolve and what potential hot spots could bring to us. We want to bring that into the fight. So they're adding that complexity, making the Blue Air training even more difficult. Yeah, Northern Edge, it gives U.S. Joint Forces an opportunity to come and train on, one of the best training ranges the United States has up here in the Joint Pacific-Alaska Range Complex, in order for us to be better prepared to respond to any crises around the world, but particularly in the Indo-Asia Pacific region. And there are just times when we need to get the U.S. forces together to sharpen our tactics, techniques, and procedures, our command and control, our interoperability with each other, again, against the most advanced, most complicated scenario that we could go face. It allows us to kind of do some different test vignettes to improve, operational concepts, to better integrate emerging technologies, to fight against emerging technologies. So the range and training opportunities here in Alaska are second to none. So that's why we come every 2 years to do Northern Edge up here in Alaska. Absolutely. So first of all, it's massive. The scenarios that we're doing this year in the morning, for instance, are much more air and ground centric when we're up here in the interior of the J Park. And our interior range is 67,000 square miles. So that's just massive. We're operating an area that's about 250 nautical miles by 200 nautical miles for the actual fight, let alone the administrative space that you need to get in and out safely, and buffers from civilian and commercial traffic. So it's massive. So if you're sitting on the ground, you actually probably won't see that much. But if you were able to see the entire picture of all those airplanes flying around, it's pretty impressive how well orchestrated it needs to be to maximize everyone's potential, to keep it safe, and to get the lessons learned out of it. Where you will see and hear things is if you're sitting at the end of the runway at Elmendorf, or at the end of the runway at Eielson, right about 9:45 or 10 o'clock, about between 9:30 and 9:45. 9:30 down at Elmendorf, about 9:45 up here, and you're just going to see, aircraft after aircraft launch. But outside of that, it gets kind of quiet, unless you really had some binoculars and knew where to look. But it's still exciting. It's exciting for our local community, as it's the first of 3 big exercises for the summer. The 2 red flags to follow will be even larger for the Eielson community up here. But and then for our base, we love hosting these exercises. It's what we do in the summertime. So the whole base gets fired up and rallied around it. And it's exciting to see, as Colonel Dietrich said, all the airplanes on the ramp. The weather's been beautiful. Last night, I came back with my wife. I took her out to a birthday dinner downtown. We came back. The sun was setting. The Alaska Range was lit up. Alpenglow color, and then we had the backdrop of visiting F-15Es and F-16s to look across the ramp. It was just beautiful. So we're just super excited. Alaska mountain scenery and jet airplanes on the ramp. There's nothing better than that for me.